May 29, 1453. Dawn breaks over Constantinople. A thunderous roar shatters the morning silence. The ground trembles. Ancient walls, standing for over 1,000 years, begin to crack. 23 sieges had failed before. But this time, everything was different. This is the story of a 21-year-old genius who used engineering to change history forever. His name was Muhammad Al-Fateh, Mehmed II, the Conqueror. But before he was a conqueror, he was an engineer, a strategist who understood something revolutionary. Wars aren't just won with swords and soldiers. They're won with mathematics, physics, innovation, and one absolutely massive cannon. This is how he did the impossible. Constantinople, the jewel of the Byzantine Empire. Protected by the Theodosian walls, a triple-layered defensive system with moats, trenches, and towers. These weren't just walls. They were a military miracle. Built in the 5th century, they had crushed every army that dared challenge them. Arabs, Persians, Vikings, Crusaders, all defeated. The walls stood 60 feet high in some places, 20 feet thick. Military experts called them impregnable, unconquerable. But 19-year-old Muhammad Al-Fateh saw them differently. He saw a problem, an engineering challenge, and he was about to solve it. First move, control the water. In 1452, Mehmed built the Rumeli fortress at the narrowest point of the Bosphorus Strait. This wasn't just a fortress. It was a choke point. He cut off Constantinople's supply lines from the Black Sea. No food, no reinforcements, no escape. But walls don't fall from starvation alone. He needed something bigger, something the world had never seen. Enter Orban, a Hungarian cannon maker and engineering genius. Orban first went to the Byzantine Emperor Constantine. He showed him designs for the largest cannon ever built. Constantine's response? I can't afford you. So Orban walked across enemy lines. And when Mehmed saw those designs, he smiled. Build it. Whatever you need. Just build it. 3 months later, the monster was born. 27 feet long, 8 inches of solid bronze walls, 17 tons of pure destruction. It could fire 1,200-pound stone balls over a mile away. Moving it required 60 oxen and 700 men. The journey from Adirna to Constantinople took 2 months. But when it arrived, everything changed. This wasn't just a weapon. It was psychological warfare. The Byzantines had never seen anything like it. When it fired for the first time, the sound could be heard 10 miles away. The cannonball hit the wall. Stone exploded. Dust filled the air. The walls that had stood for a millennium cracked. But Mehmed knew one cannon wasn't enough. He built 14 to 15 artillery batteries, positioned strategically around the city. And here's the genius part. He did the math himself. Every single night during the siege, Mehmed sat with pen and paper. He drew sketches of the city, calculated angles, marked firing positions. He determined where trenches should be dug, where barricades should go, where every cannon should aim. This wasn't a king sitting in a tent giving orders. This was an engineer on the battlefield, solving problems in real time. When the walls proved tougher than expected, he adapted. When defenders filled the breaches at night, he changed tactics. But his most brilliant move? Nobody saw it coming. Constantinople's harbour, the Golden Horn, was protected by a massive chain across the water. Ottoman ships couldn't get through. So Mehmed asked the impossible question, what if we don't go through? On April 22, 1453, he did something unprecedented. He moved his ships, overland, 80 galleys, pulled by oxen on greased wooden rails, over hills, around enemy territory. They launched into the Golden Horn from the north. The Byzantines woke up to enemy warships behind their defenses. It was like a magic trick, except it was engineering. Pure, brilliant, impossible engineering. May 29th, the 53rd day of the siege. The walls were crumbling. The defenders were exhausted. Mehmed ordered the final assault. Wave after wave of Ottoman soldiers poured through the breaches. By midday, it was over. Constantinople, the city that had stood for over 1,000 years, had fallen. The medieval world ended. The Renaissance accelerated. Trade routes shifted. The balance of power in Europe and Asia changed forever. All because a 21-year-old sultan understood that the future belonged to those who could outthink, out-engineer, and out-innovate their enemies. Mehmed Al-Fateh, the Conqueror. But perhaps his real title should be the Engineer. He proved that the greatest weapon isn't the sword. It's the mind that designs something better. He was 21 when he conquered Constantinople. Imagine what you could do. With the same determination, the same focus, the same refusal to accept impossible. What walls are you facing today? And what will you engineer to bring them down? The question isn't whether you can. The question is, will you? If you enjoyed this story of engineering genius changing history, hit that subscribe button. Next video, we are exploring more brilliant minds who used science and innovation to reshape the world. Drop a comment. What historical engineering feat should we cover next? See you in the next one.